Three. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our live broadcast here, Podcast Juice. My name is Michael Dean. Well, you see a little special effect go through. And I am joined today by my lovely panel. As you can see below, these are the moderators from the PRN FunkNRoll Weekend. And we're going to do our recap. But enough running my mouth. Let me welcome everybody in here. First, we have Mr. Duane Tudahl. Sir, how are you?
I'm doing great. Throat's a little sore. Shout out to all the people I was with last night at the Los Angeles party. Good time, but my throat is raw. Good time.
All right. And also we have Mr. Troy Gua. Sir, how are you?
I'm doing well. How's everybody? Hey, everybody. Good to see you.
All right. And last but certainly not least, we have darling Nisi, a.k.a. KaNisa. How are you?
Doing well. Beautiful day in Atlanta.
Okay, that's what's up. So, listen, it was a phenomenal. I heard it was a phenomenal weekend out in Minneapolis back in on October. Was it the 13th? Well, 11th to the 13th.
Yeah.
15th, yeah.
And it was a series of events starting off with the Maceo Parker concert. Listen, I need to know the details on that. Like, how was that show?
Go ahead, guys.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. It was more than a concert, actually. They did feature Taja Seville, talked about her urban farming initiative and how Prince helped out with that. And Ingrid introduced the musical act. And it had like Maceo Parker, Candy Dulfer, and Greg Boyer on trombone. That was really, really cool.
It was a great show. Anytime you get to see Maceo and then Candy joins them, it was a great show. And what was fun is just the whole event, because they had the silent auction and things like that. So they have all kinds of cool things in the auction, and it all goes to a great charity. So it was just a good time, just a party atmosphere that night.
Okay. And talk to me a little bit about the place that it was. Was that the Aria? Is that the name of the?
Yeah, they actually said, Craig said that they were looking at that location for the Glam Slam initially. So that was a cool piece of trivia.
Interesting. Okay. I saw the pictures of the architecture of it, how it seems like the, I don't want to call them booths, but just the way it was set up, you know.
Like a cross section of an apartment building.
Okay, yeah.
It was super dramatic, and they put furnishings in different rooms, and the lighting was spectacular, and the mood was set perfectly for the show.
Okay.
Good sound too. It was one of those places that had good sound to it. Because sometimes you go to a place and it just bounces off everything, but I really like the sound to it as well. So yeah.
Awesome. And did you guys get an opportunity to meet Mr. Parker?
I did not.
Did you?
I did get to meet all three of them, Candy, Mr. Parker, and Greg. So that was really awesome.
Right.
How did you do that? How did you do that?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I saw her glittering off in the backstage from my seat, and I was like, okay.
I was carrying boxes.
Hilarious.
You were signing autographs.
I was toting boxes. No, it was good. I didn't get to see. I wanted to see them. I wanted to have them sign my posters. They were amazing. I've talked to Candy in the past, and I'm going to see her before this in concert, but I'd never seen Maceo. And
me neither. And that was really cool. That was. And
I like this. I like the
so
thing where he stopped. Yeah, I love the thing where he stopped in the middle of the song. That was good. So good.
Man, the drummer was a legend, man. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, legend in the game for sure. Okay, so phenomenal concert. Amazing.
The other thing, just so you know, there was another thing at the concert. A lot of the people that were showing up, you had Paul Peterson and people like that showing up.
Latoya
was there.
We did get an update about Rosie.
Yeah.
It
was really that was good. Her, she's a super sweetheart. Love her.
Now, is it possible for us that we're not there? What was the update, if you remember? With Rob, excuse me.
Anyone want to speak on that? I'll do it. Basically, her mom has been dealing with mental health issues along with her physical health issues, and it's one of those things where she didn't really, it's not something that is easy to talk about. So
it was nice that she did. She kind of was going into some detail and saying how much the PRN Alumni Foundation helps, and that Rosie was very appreciative of everything that's going on. And that made me feel really good that all the hard work everybody's doing is going to a good thing. It's sad because we all want to see Rosie back on stage, you know, and to know that she's going through some tough times is tough, because there's a lot of love for her. So
yeah,
it's good to hear
you
an
know,
update.
you see that shirt everywhere, and I always wear mine, and people always stop and they're looking like, who is that? You know, like, is that some queen or something? Not Black Queen on this? Man, this is Rosie Gaines, man.
Rosie Gaines.
Like, oh, okay.
And there's the new one by Bluel. That's
right.
Really beautiful too.
Yes, got to get that one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get our bowling shoes on. And I need to know. So, how was was Funkin' Bowl? Is that what it was called? So, who did some strikes? Who was winning?
I didn't even bowl. I didn't pick up a ball. Did you? You guys?
I was talking to people.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't get out. I was spending time just talking to everybody, catching up, and seeing that they raffle, and they gave away a bunch of stuff, but just it was kind of fun just to see. You had to go off to an area to be quiet, off to the side if you're going to really talk to people, but. Man, just seeing when people started really showing up that you could, you know, it was nice because the event the night before and the event the next day were very busy. That was sort of an oasis for all of us to kind of just meet up and talk to people and just chill. And that was good. That was really good. And a lot of people did bowl.
One of the coolest things about these, well, this is my first one, but just to be able to hang out with these like deities of, you know, purple mythology and like meet them, and like I'm hanging out with Wally and talking, you know, it's like Wally Safford is right, and Brent Fisher. I'm like, oh my god, it's just that's amazing to me, and it's you know, folks who didn't come, that is for me that's worth it alone.
And now I saw a lot of pictures online during the events. Can you guys, if you remember, shout out some of the people that you guys met out there? I mean, shout out to like Lenny.
Yes.
He would definitely
Rodney.
represent Purple Underground. Rodney, okay.
Rodney.
You name
Craig
it.
Fire Dime, always representing.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
I'll say that anybody that was cool was there. That's all. Sorry, Michael.
Shots fired. Shout out to shout out to all the people though that came out too. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the different fans who came out and made their way out there, and just that camaraderie, right?
Anybody remember the name? I cannot think of the name. I got a brain fart right now. The couple from Australia.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I cannot think of it. I'm drawing a blank on his name and her name. And they were out there, so all the way from Australia for this.
Lino?
What's that?
Lino?
I'm not sure. I got to think. I got to look. I don't remember at the moment. But it was just people I knew. But it's like it is a family reunion from around the world, and it's like there's hugs and everybody's saying how you doing, and it's nice to find you're in this big crazy family, but there's people from everywhere coming in, and even the locals, and
especially the locals. Yeah, because it's cool to kind of bridge the time. You have everyone from the past as far as the PRN alumni, and then you have the locals, the cool kids who used to go to Paisley all the time, like Samantha, Jesse, and Tamiko, and all those, and they were there too, and they were volunteering. So it's like it's cool that everybody's coming together to kind of contribute to the legacy like that.
Yeah, no, it's
nice.
Just so much fun. Yeah.
All right. So now, let me just to be clear, Troy, you said you didn't bowl.
I did not.
Duane, you said you didn't.
I did funk.
KaNisa. Okay, well there you go.
I did some extra funking because I wasn't bowling.
Bowling balls are heavy.
Hilarious.
Enough KaNisa size balls, I think.
Yeah, they really are.
All right. Okay. There you go. Well, next time I need to see some. What's some action? I need some balls.
I need balls rolling.
Some perfection. I think we should have some bowling shirts made, actually, and then
there you go. Okay. Like bowling leagues,
right?
Purple.
Okay. But
great. Anyway, let me stay focused.
Yeah.
All right. So, and now also we want to shout out. What was the gentleman that was the DJ that night? Right, there was a DJ.
DJ WD, right?
Yeah, WD.
WD.
It's great.
All right.
Did a good job. It's just, yeah. I love that fact that the energy kept up. That's what the music was so loud. You had to go to the other side, but you could just stand there and just jam the whole time. Like I said, anytime there's soundtrack music for all that stuff,
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm 90% there.
Right.
That's the best.
Yeah, he funked it up.
Okay. Oh, was there people dancing and stuff? Like,
Oh yeah.
Troy kept trying to dance with me, but I had to tell him,
Hilarious.
Well, that's because there was a line.
Here we go. All right.
It was a good time. It was a good time. It was a real good time.
Perfect. Now, so you guys' big day.
Wait, there's more. There's more though.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Because
Yes.
that night was the Ingrid.
Right.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that
right.
was
Shout out to
was
Ingrid.
fun. That was fun because Ingrid got up there and talked for a while and she did the rain is wet, sugar is sweet, and we were all cheering on that. And that was fun to hear her saying that. And then she did stuff off her new album. But the coolest thing to me, maybe not the coolest thing, is she did Justify My Love up there on stage. And that was a kick because I didn't know that she was going to be doing that. Now, this wasn't technically one of the official PRN alumni things, but they did it together. They did it with her. And I think that this is part of the reach of PRN alumni is they have connections with all these people like Ingrid, and they all want to cooperate and help out with this stuff. And so it was fun to get a chance to hear her performing.
Yes, and she has a new album out, right?
Yep.
This was a release party, I believe, as well. So
Yeah.
we want to all go and get that album support as well.
It was fun hearing her. She was good, and Amika, who did the art for it, was there, and she got a shout from the stage.
Okay.
And Craig Rice did the announcing, who is always solid. Anytime Craig's on stage, we're all comfortable. It's like, oh, Craig's in charge. All right, you can relax. Craig is in control. Yeah.
All right.
It's always comforting when he's up there. So
nice. Now we are ready. I really want to pick you guys' brains to hear your experiences with your panels. And we are going to go ladies first. So KaNisa, I heard a lot of good things. I saw some of the footage as well, but walk us through, possibly the night before, like how did that feel? And then, getting there and just, you're on the stage. Yeah.
So night before I went to Ingrid's thing and enjoyed that as well. And the questions and answers, I was like, well, people are going to ask questions and I'm going to ask. And so might have to change a couple of things, but it was fine. And then the night before I went through my questions, I posted a picture on my Twitter of like my laptop and my headphones and my little note cards getting ready. And then kind of, meditated for a second because I'm used to being on a podcast and not really in front of people. So it was kind of weird, at least in the Prince context. So it was kind of weird to do that. Arrived to the venue, see everybody. I remember seeing Duane and everybody was just like, okay, we're about to get ready to do this. And we had the start of the session, which was, again, Taja, I believe, talked about her initiatives and the different ways that Prince gave back and then initiatives that PRN alumni supports. And then Duane went, and we'll get to him. And then there was me. So I was nervous because Duane did like this whole like cold open thing. I'm like, are we supposed to do like a monologue?
Oh, you guys did videos, so I had to do something last time because I had to bring some thunder somehow.
And it was also interesting because when we got our times for how long we were going to talk for, I was like, oh, that's a long time. But once you get up there, it goes so quickly. And so I called all my people up and started going down my agenda. And it's interesting because on Muse, sometimes we do get emotional. And I didn't want to necessarily do that on my panel, but there are some moments that people did cry a little bit. And it's kind of like a reminder because sometimes it was the first time people had been back to Minneapolis since they had worked for Prince. And it's really interesting to hear the stories where you hear so much about Prince and his music, and it's so singularly focused on Prince, but there's huge machines that were around him that supported him doing his work, whether it was hundreds of people like back in the 90s or the 80s, or just a handful that was, after the 2000s and later. And it's a good reminder to be reminded that there's a lot of cogs in the wheel to, you know, make him as successful as he was. And then also hearing the stories, even across the panels of people's experiences and how people had similar stories. Somebody would say something and someone would be like, oh yeah, I remember that had happened to me too. And just making those links were really just, it puts everything into context in a really interesting way.
Awesome. What was there some highlights for you or anything that was said that kind of blew your mind a little bit, or?
The story that Karen told about when Prince changed his name was funny because that's in the clip that's on the PRN alumni page. I think maybe, I don't know. But just hearing, you know, I got a phone call. He said he was changing his name. And she's like, I got a piece of paper to write it down. And he was like, yeah, remember what the symbol was? My last album is going to be that. And she's like, oh man, I'm canceling my whole weekend. Tomorrow's going to be a rough day. Or even hearing like Ruth talk about her experience as far as being his PA slash manager slash publicist slash all these different things, because during her time there wasn't a huge machine, and so it was like 3 or 4 other people besides her versus Karen's time, or even other people's time where you had entire staffs of people performing a job. So it's really interesting, again, just to hear that kind of different types of jobs at different times, or even hearing comparisons between Gail and Rhonda, where her practices were back in the day with Gail was just like, we're practicing for the show, we're practicing, and it's like a limited catalog of music that they're working with, versus Rhonda, who has to know hundreds of songs and pull them from her mind at any given time. So I appreciate the most kind of hearing how things changed or how things didn't change at all over the time. And yeah, and then also I just have to admit that Kat Dyson was there as well. She wasn't in our panel, but she was in the audience giving support.
Oh wow, awesome. And then I want to ask this because I think this was your first time, and what was it like just walking into the Capri, you know, and looking around?
Yeah, that's nuts, because you hear so much history. Again, for those who don't know, that's where Prince's first show was. And I remember tweeting about it and some pictures, and there was a lady who said, I was there at that show. So it's kind of crazy. And she said something like his pants or something were orange or something like that she remembered. But it's kind of wild to imagine, you know, walking to a venue like that with maybe 200, 250 seats there, and then he fills up like 40,000 seat arenas, like maybe a couple years later. So it's just wild to think about.
All right. Now, just to deviate for 1 second, you also guested over at the Current, right, on the radio thing there.
Yeah, Sean McPherson.
Tell us a little bit about that. Pop your collar a little bit now. Come on.
No, I'm a huge fan of the Current because I'd always send stuff on my Alexa as song requests, and then Sean told me I'd always pick these super obscure songs, and sometimes they wouldn't have it, and you're like, KaNisa, why are you always? I was like, I'm sorry. But yeah, so I listen to the Current. They have Purple Current, which plays Prince music and Prince influenced music like all day long. You can get the app or just listen to them online. And I had been talking with Sean McPherson because he listens to Muse as well, and we were talking back and forth about some of the topics, and he invited me on. And so what I did was, since I'm a huge fan of 90s and 2000s and later, I love the 80s stuff too, but he asked me to come on and pick 13 songs that were after 2000 and to co-host with him. So that's what we did on that Friday of the PRN Alumni Weekend. And Craig Lawrence was there as well. He should be on soon about his Purple Day in Houston. But yeah, so we went to the Current. We met Andrea Swenson and the Current folks who support the Prince work, and talked a little bit about their experiences with Prince as well. And then I went in and we recorded our about hour-long show for Purple Hour that aired on like the Monday after PRN Alumni Weekend. And it was super cool to just see how that works. And yeah, I got some tips too, so it was very cool.
Right on. All right, so that was great stuff. Now we're gonna go over to Mr. Fashion himself, Mr. Troy Gua. Sir, let me salute you on your outfit there that you had. Straight off of the When Doves Cry alternate reality. I love that, man. Like before we even get into your panel, I mean, how much work did it? Is that something you already had made, or did you?
No, actually, I found that, and I gotta say that I'm super glad that Duane and I got together beforehand and coordinated to make sure that we didn't wear the same outfit.
Close, that close. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually want to see Duane wear that. That would be awesome.
Me too. Me
With the
too.
hat.
But no, I actually, yeah, I sourced most of that stuff. I put the hat together myself, but yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, now I didn't see the shoes. What was the shoe game? Did you have on
They were cream suede John Varvatos Capezio style, like the early 80s Revolution. You know what I'm talking about.
Okay. Man, I love it, man. The details. The details. So Troy.
Saw the cufflinks though. It was a happy mask and the drama mask, happy tragedy comedy.
Wow.
Okay.
All right now. I see you. So Troy, man, tell us about your experience with the panel. And one of the things too, I love about this is sort of the challenge to sort of step out of the comfort zone, right? And I think you might be really. I want to hear your,
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm a visual artist. I'm like isolationist. So to get out in front of people and talk is not natural. So, yeah, I was telling Jackie that besides carrying on Prince's charitable giving with the PRN alumni, she's also carrying on his gift of helping people grow. She's like pushed me out of my comfort zone, and we all know that helps us grow. And that's like the story that every single member of the alumni has, is that they were pushed outside of their comfort zone and it made them better for it. So yeah, I mean, totally uncomfortable. I was super nervous. People tell me I did a good job. It was like a completely surreal, fuzzy thing, but yeah, it was a blast. It was I got to, I walked up. See, I was so nervous that I didn't pick up the microphone. I had a joke all ready to go. Blew it. Duane, I think, was like, Mike, pick up your mic.
Well, I was saying something to you before that too.
Oh yeah, there's a couple things you said to me, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Every time I saw you.
Don't mess up. Every time I saw him, I was like,
something like that.
Don't mess up.
Yeah. Every time I would ask him, he would grab my arms. Don't mess up.
Damn, pressure. Well, now I saw some of your footage as well, and there was a story that was told during your thing that really was like a headbuster story.
The Target story?
Yeah, the Target thing, man.
I know. I was totally joking when I said, I mentioned something about like, where did you source this material? Like if you needed something real quick, did you just go to Joanne's? And Bonnie Fleslin, who worked there during Diamonds and Pearls era and throughout the mid-90s, and yeah, she basically said, yeah, I actually did have to go to Joanne's a couple of times. And, one time he wanted this particular sweater and I was like, where am I going to find this? So I went to Target and found something maybe that could work. And I dyed it and he loved it. All colors. That was something funny that I learned. See, I was completely geeking out on this because this is the stuff that I think about and look at, What was I saying?
It's about the Target sweater and sort of the effect of the story.
Yeah. I don't remember where I was going with that last.
You were saying how much you love public speaking.
Oh, that.
Hey, let my man having this moment. You gotta let
Hey, nobody said
what it is. So
horrible.
So I mean, what's that again?
I said nobody said I did a horrible job. So
no, you did a great job. You did a great job.
How did you feel? How did you feel? Coming off of the stage and
Yeah, that's one thing that I forgot to acknowledge too, was that being on that stage was also completely surreal. It's like, wow, it's just it's a trip to take that in and like kind of put yourself in Prince's young boots. Yeah, there's just a lot of history in that building, and you can feel it. It's really cool. It's amazing.
And you remember, like, what were who was on your panel?
Okay, so we've got Leanne Dosher, Bonnie Flesland, Robin Lynch, Cheryl Ann Nick, and Bevla Reeves. And most of them worked, well, Robin Lynch was there from like Purple Rain tour through, gosh, I think she probably late 80s. Yeah, because she did the Batman stuff too. And but most of them were, well, actually no. Leanne Dosher also was there from Sign of the Times through early 90s, I believe. Bevla Reeves worked on the Sign of the Times and Love Sexy tour. And Cheryl Ann Nick worked, like she worked with Maserati on their videos initially. That's her introduction. And then she worked on Graffiti Bridge, the movie. And Lynch worked on Under the Cherry Moon, and she went on tour, during Sign of the Times and all the, lots of legendary memories. And yeah, it's just an honor to be able to pick their brains for a while. And KaNisa is completely right. It was like, I still have another page of questions. You know what I mean? It was like, went so fast. So that was really, yeah, a trip too. It's kind of a time warp.
Can I mention something during his panel? The hair, Bevla stories about his hair. And she said that he liked to get relaxers every couple of days, which blew my mind because, I'm Black. Relaxers, when I had them, you get them every month, maybe 4 to 6 weeks. I'm like, what? And I asked her about it after, and she said because he liked his edges to lay flat. And I'm like, that's why your hair fell out. But wow, that was crazy.
I love it. Love it. All right. Mr. Duane, sir, back again for second go around. Talk to us about your panel. You had the panel of engineers in studio.
Yeah. I had Peggy, Cubby, Colby, Peggy McCreary, Cubby Colby, Tom Garneau, Shane, who else was in there? Dave Hampton and Lisa Chambley. And it was a nice range from 81 till toward the end of their career. And hearing them all have similar stories and also then hearing how Prince's career grew in the studio was always fun. Anytime I can get to talk to engineers, like those guys were saying, I nerd out in the same way. It's like, this is what I understand. This is, so when you talk to people that were in a room with Prince for 18 hours a day for weeks on end, you can kind of get more of a feel of what they're like and what he was like. And that was kind of fun to hear the stories. Cubby did a lot of the live shows. He was the anomaly on this. He was doing the live shows. So he would be there on tour and stuff where the other ones weren't necessarily on tour. But there were some great stories from each of these. And Lisa had a thing where she calls him the GOAT Oat, the greatest of all time. And I totally agreed with that. And I thought that makes a lot of sense, so I didn't know her. She was the one person on the panel I had not met. But man, we were talking beforehand just to kind of get an idea of what kind of stories, and watching these guys get together and meet each other and talk and hear their stories. And like I said, compare what it was like when Prince you'd think it's the end of the shift and you're like 4 or 5 in the morning. You're thinking, I'm finally going home after 15, 16 hours. And he says, fresh tape. And you realize, oh God, we got another song we're going to record. And you just hear those kind of things. You're just thinking that was a machine, a flipping machine, just where he was just, as soon as the song was done, next song. He couldn't stop. And he recorded 2 or 3 songs a day. That's just nuts. So, yeah.
All right. Now, did people have the opportunity to ask questions?
Yeah. We had people that at the end of each one, we had 3 or 4, try to get a couple questions in there. Before I get to that, you were mentioning about the Capri and you've been there. It is, like the Toronto said, it's historic. And you go there and you think that Prince was this young guy, nervous up on stage doing this thing. And you think, gosh, I think I said when I got up there, it's like, you didn't realize this guy was going to change the world. And he did okay that night, but not well enough for us to see that he was going to do this. But he went back the next night, played again. And, and then you just grow and you finally realize, like KaNisa was saying, he's filling arenas, you know, and you watch this guy go from this stage. It's not a big stage. You've been on this stage, you know, and it's not a big arena. I always thought of the Capri, I'm thinking this is going to be this epic place, and you're like, oh, this is a small little club, and it's like a little movie theater type thing.
Yeah.
And then you go there and you're like, but the history that's here, and you're walking on stage and you're thinking, this is where Prince was up here, he was doing his thing and introducing himself to people, and you're just going, wow, you know, the launch, he launched from there, and just that's pretty cool. That part just makes you realize that we all have this inside of us potentially. And we all get nervous, and we're all a little nervous up on that stage, but you know, Prince was too, and he fought through it and went on to do things that, you know, make us all come and, you know, fly around the world to go visit each other. So it's pretty cool.
Love it. So I wanted to ask all three of you guys. So what was your takeaways from this year's PRN alumni for you personally? And we'll start with KaNisa.
It's kind of what Duane was saying, as far as not that everybody can do this, as far as, you know, what he did, but everybody has a talent that they have to contribute. And some things that I say a lot, like when you don't like walk in your own potential, when you don't have confidence in yourself, that sometimes impacts other people's blessings as well. Like if I'm good at something, it helps somebody else be good at what they do, because everybody's operating at this level of high performance and expectations, but also gifts. Everyone's gifted. So do your gift, learn your gift, so that you can kind of contribute to the greater good. Because everybody seemed like that was on the panel, or the alumni that were at these events were all like super approachable, really nice people. And like when we have in our heads, when we think about people like Prince, they're like, oh, they're these huge superstars who all this professional, really high quality, and all these like things that we think we can't do. I'm like, you can do it too. Just get in there and just do it and make it happen. And that's pretty much, you know, whatever, you know, everyone said it sometimes is very tough to work with Prince, but that's what they learned was just so like very much, I can do it. Like, why do I not think that I can? So that's pretty much my biggest thing. So I left there like, okay, so I have ideas, so why don't I just do them? What's keeping me from doing them other than that I haven't done it yet? So that's what my biggest takeaway was, I think.
All right. I love that motivation. I love it. Troy.
Yes, sir.
How about what say you?
I want to piggyback on what KaNisa said, really, but more than that. But yeah, it's the ability that we all have to fulfill our potential, right? We all have it. It's in us, and we watched Prince pull it out of himself. Like Duane was saying, he was nervous on stage, but he kept coming back. He kept coming back, and he got better and better and better. And that's what I do with my art. I just, you know, try and get better and better and better. But also just this sense of family and positivity that we have the ability to create when we get together, and wanting to figure out how we can transfer that further out into the world. So it isn't just when we get together, maybe we can, I don't know. That's my biggest takeaway, is that how do we figure out how to get this feeling spread, you know, beyond our purple gatherings, because we all just like immediately love each other and are like, it's just pure love, and boy, don't we need more of that. So that's, you know, I'm trying to figure out how we can harness that positivity and push it out.
Okay. All right. Well said. Well said. Now, Duane, I don't want to ask you the same thing, but can you also elaborate on that, but really speak to the PRN alumni organization, right? And
Sure.
just reiterate, you know, why have these events, right?
First up, the thing, the takeaway I get is about the people around the PRN alumni. I want to make sure that everybody gets noticed that Jackie and Hucky and James and Robin and Craig and Katie and everybody that was there doing the stuff. The one consistent thing I see with all of them is you realize, and every panel should probably say this too, every person up there was better because they worked with Prince. They were better at what they did. They were better at decision making. They were better at creative things because they had an example of a guy that worked hard and surrounded himself with people that kept up and believed in his dream. And I think that's what I walked away with, is that you have a lot of people that dedicated, understand that it's got to get done. We got 2 days. We're going to do this. I don't care if it's an album that's coming out in 2 days. You're doing this. And you were like, you didn't say no. You said now. and that's what happened. And I see that with the PRN alumni and what they do with the charity work and the talent they bring together. You don't just get people to bring in Maceo and Candy and things like that. You have to know these people. You have to understand. You have to work with these people, and they have to commit to it as well. You get Taja Seville up there and Paul Peterson talking about this stuff because it's part of them and because they also know that this is a good mission and an honest mission and a heartfelt mission. And what's cool, like Troy was saying, is this goes out through the community, and there is a bubble of love. And it is, and how do we harness this? And how do we get this out there? And how do we get this to the people that may not know? And whether it's people that are Prince fans or people beyond that, it's vital that we keep pushing his legacy as well as the legacy of giving and charitable work, because that's contagious. And these people understand that, and these people understand that we all get together to heal and to push this. And there's nothing but good behind it. And that's the thing that's so exciting, is I always feel extra energy being around these people. The sad thing for me is it's so much I don't get a chance to hang out with. I didn't get a chance to hang out with either of these too much that entire weekend. We saw each other, a couple of photographs, and I'd be watching you guys on stage cheering you on, and you don't get as much time as you'd want. And it's still great because you're meeting everybody, whether they're from Australia or from Minnesota or Los Angeles or Seattle or Atlanta. There's just this. It's nice having a focal point, and whether the focal point is the event or Prince or our hearts, it's nice having this thing we can all kind of make as an oasis for us. And it's a great feeling, and I am addicted to it. And every time I get a chance to go to these things, I go. I see you guys. I love you guys. I always have fun. Michael, you were missed. You and I had a blast last time. Neither of us knew how to do this last time. We were both sitting there going, how are we going to do this? I don't know. How are you going to do this? And it was crazy. And I remember the night before was the first night I met you, Michael, last year. And we were hanging out at the thing thinking, why did they pick us? And I think all three of us felt the same way. Why did they pick us? But then we get up there and we realize they picked us because we love this. And it comes across with each one of you two. It came across that you love this stuff. I did a panel on fashion last year. I'm not the fashion guy. Troy, you are the fashion guy. It made so much sense to have you up there. KaNisa, it made so much sense to have you up there doing her story stuff. You couldn't have anybody else doing these stories. You guys brought so much thunder to this, the way you asked the questions. And yeah, we both had pages of questions. We were asked to have pages of questions. And we got to the end going, I got a stack here I haven't even gotten to because I've done 3 questions. But yet each panel was riveting and heartfelt, and there were big emotional parts or big laughter things. Karen Lee's stories were great, but hearing how you saw so many people up there tear up because they love Prince, they love the people around Prince, and this is a gigantic family. And I think that the PRN alumni does better than anybody when it comes to organizing this and focusing it on giving. And so that's what my takeaway was, if that helped.
Well said.
Yes. And I want to acknowledge all the people that are watching us right now, too.
Yes.
We want to thank them and actually have a few questions for us. So we want to make sure we can address some of these. Let's see. Zuzu Petals asks, are there any videos of the panels available?
That's what I want to know.
If you look on the PRN alumni page, there are
What?
2. One from mine and one from Troy's as well.
Yeah, mine never happened. Yeah, I don't know whether it's going to be released or not. I don't know. I know that there are things floating around, but I hope that the PRN does end up finding a way to get these out to people, whether it's whatever the thing is, because they're very informative and very
Valuable,
Yeah,
historic.
very good. That value is a great word for that because it really is. It's something that I think there is a value to it, and so I hope they get a chance to get this out there.
All right. Shout out to Rodney Fitzgerald. He asked the question. He says, yeah, he says, what is the one question that you had that was not asked? If there was one.
God, I had a few, but now I can't remember them.
Yeah, I flushed it after I got off. Yeah. Why can't I dress like Troy is my question.
Hilarious. Let's see. Revel
nobody asked me about shoes. That's what I want to know. How come nobody asked me about my shoes?
Yeah, what was your shoe game like, sir?
I had my Nikes.
What kind?
They're canvas. It was sweet.
All right.
No, I wasn't. No, these guys
come with your AOL subscription.
I looked at those two and I was like, oh my God, you guys are all dressed up. I got a jacket. Hey. You guys look so good. Yeah.
You look like Duane Tudahl, and that's
there you go.
Lame Tudahl.
Wow. Okay. Another question. Says, somebody says, can we hear again about the Maceo and Candy performance and benefit again? A lot missed the beginning. Well, we'll say one, this is going to be saved. So you'll be able to rewatch it here on YouTube and also on the PRN alumni page. So you will be able to watch this over again. But real quick, if you guys just want to give quick synopsis, give me your quick, like, one word feeling of the Candy and Maceo performance. Start with Troy.
Stanky funk.
That's 2 words.
I can't combine those.
Okay. If there's a dash in between, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Hyphenated.
Hyphenated.
Stanky funk.
Okay, we got that.
You could copyright that.
T-shirt.
StinkyFunk.com. have your face on there. That's good. That's good. It was good. My word would be amazing.
Yeah. All right. KaNisa?
I was going to say peas, but I think everybody knows peas in regard to Maceo, so I'll just leave it there.
All right. Let's see here. Someone shout out. Zuzu Pedal says Duane is the one I wanted to see. Some love there.
That's very nice. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Holy Rivers 999 says, wow, being poetic, which is a lyrical art. No problem, Troy, since I can notice through your eyesight the quality of art, whether lyrical, physical, or even musical. Thanks all with this piece. So there you go.
Nice.
Good stuff. Yeah. Shout out. And another one here says, you guys are great. Thank you all for doing this. PRN, keep up the good work. All right.
Thank you, Mike.
Oh, my pleasure. Listen, it is always an honor to be associated with PRN alumni and to help out in any way that I certainly can. And I very much want to salute these 3 here for doing a phenomenal job in stepping up and being a part of this and bringing their gifts to help facilitate this event as well. And as it was said before, shout out to Jackie, Hucky, Craig, James, Robin. Hopefully I am not forgetting some people. I know that I am, but everyone that's everyone behind the scenes that helps to volunteer and put in the time to work here and do this. Shout out to you. As a fan, I really appreciate it. And this is one way to keep Prince's legacy going, and also a way to help out other Purple PRN alumni out there in the world. So definitely shout out to the organization. We're getting ready to wrap this up. But again, shout out to Troy, KaNisa, Duane, you watching us at home, wherever you are around the world. Thank you. And as I always say, work it like a job. We will see you next time. Peace.